Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, put your head. I give y'all headphones too, so sometimes I play music and you can't hear it outside the headphones.
Oh.
You don't want your headphones.
You want headphones?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right
Oh.
Oh, I need to grab my shot. What did I do with it? Did I leave it over there? Kim,
What's that?
did I leave my shot over there?
Right. Oh, she's got it.
Shit. We doing this on a school night. Amaya's going to do all my sponsor
cool.
recordings this weekend. So I just gonna press the button and you play, so I don't have to read them. You ready?
Ready, Freddie.
Welcome to the World's Drunkest Podcast. This is Drinks and Things, your boy MG. Super producer Jake Rim City, AP. This episode is brought to you by Fresh Roof. Fresh Roof has joined forces with Peak 301, which will certify applicators across the United States and Canada. Peak 301 provides a sustainable solution to worn asphalt shingles by using a cutting-edge restoration process created by experts at Iowa State University, giving property owners extended lifespans for their roof. I am joined by two special guests tonight. Special guests. The one I like to call A-Dog.
Hi.
And Miss Kim.
Hello.
If you never joined us before, it's customary before the start of every episode, we do a shot. Today, we're doing a shot of Temperature Rise 6-year. And A-Dog's doing like vodka and some weird shit. Like
Ruby Red Squirts.
That's
Good.
weird. Who even sells that? Nobody.
Liquor lovers.
So cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you, ladies, for coming.
Thank you for inviting us.
Ooh. Oh. So like I said, this episode is a little different. The people that's listening on Facebook Live or YouTube won't be able to hear this, but I'm going to play a song while we gather our thoughts and get this episode kicked off.
Oh, I love this song. It makes me cry thinking of Gunner.
It's a great song.
The song makes you cry?
I love this song. And I hate
know.
country.
I don't even know how I found it.
You what?
I don't know how I found the song.
Oh.
I just found it.
You just put a
Oh,
clip.
You
wow.
too? You like the song?
Yeah,
too?
this is a great song.
It's
It's a great
country.
song.
It's
I listened to it
country.
like 5 times while I was preparing it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a great song.
It's cold.
While this song is playing, we'll prepare our next shot. It's not going to be soon, but... where did I put the rye thing?
You what?
Where did I put the rye bottle?
Put it on the other side. A prisoner.
So this is an incredible song. I wish the people that's listening to us on YouTube and Facebook Live can actually hear it. It's by Johnny Orr Band. And what's the name of it again? I'll post the link of the song when we put it out. But this is an incredible song. that I stumbled upon when I was preparing. And I usually don't prepare podcasts. We kind of just go organically. And we're going to do the introduction again because I had your mics muted.
Okay.
Which is fine because this can be the beginning of the episode.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Hope y'all can hang. I'll do a half.
Yeah, you gotta try the Weller too before.
This is it, right?
Yes, that's the Weller.
I didn't know I had the microphones muted. And then I looked down and I'm like, oh, why is it not registering? Which is good because I was talking over the song. So.
It's not in your face.
You might want to slide your mic up a little bit, even though they will pick up.
Yeah. Okay.
Man, it's such an emotional song, right?
I
Oh,
know.
right?
If it wasn't sung by country, I'd like it even more.
We'll get by.
Yes. I haven't heard it in a while.
It's been a minute, yeah. That'll.
Maybe I don't speak to
Welcome to the World's Drunkest Podcast. Is Drinks and Things, your boy MG. I am joined by two special guests, my dog A-Dog
Hi.
and Miss Kim.
Hello.
This episode is brought to you by Fresh Roof. Fresh Roof has joined forces with Peak 301, which both certified applicators across the United States and Canada. Peak 301 provides a sustainable solution to worn-out asphalt shingles by using a cutting-edge roof restoration process created by experts at Iowa State University, giving property owners an extended lifespan for their roof. If you've never tuned into us before, it's customary before the start of every episode, we do a shot, and then we drink throughout the episode. So, yeah. 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 Cheers.
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 Only A-Dog chases shot with alcohol. You are indeed a special.
I try my best.
So this episode is a little bit different than what we normally do. Shout out to my co-host AP, super producer Jake, Rim City, Seth. As many probably don't know, this month is Autism Awareness / Acceptance
Yes.
Month, right? Did I get that
You
right?
did. Good job.
And me and A-Dog have been trying to plan to do this since we started this podcast. To kind of do this. I'm not personally affected by anybody with autism, but it's one of the things that I feel is close to me, which is why I wanted to do this episode. So here we are.
Here we are.
So we're going to dive into everything autism related, right? And bring awareness to this thing. But what I like to do every show when I have guests, or when we have guests, is I like to give them background on people. So just tell our listeners where you're from in your background. And then for those listening, be sure to follow us on anywhere you find your podcast, as well as Facebook and YouTube. So A-Dog, where are you from?
So my name is Audra Cawelti. I live here in Ankeny, and I'm originally from Urbandale. I am in the catering business with the girls catering, and I am affected by autism. Is that my firstborn, Gunner? He's 7 years old. He's nonverbal, and this is our journey that we go through every single day. We live it, we breathe it, and Miss Kim is the one helping guide him and my family to learn how to talk and to use his talker, which he has. And autism affects the minute he wakes up to the minute he goes to sleep and when he sleeps. So it's a huge part of my life, my husband's life, and my other son's life to really understand what he's thinking and doing and feeling.
All right. And Miss Kim.
Yes. My name is Kimberly McGhiey, and I am a speech-language pathologist. I have a private practice here in Ankeny, Iowa, and I've been practicing about 27 years.
You're only 27 years old.
No,
What the hell?
I wish.
I know, looking
What the
good.
hell? You're only 27 years old.
That's how long I've been practicing. So,
Yeah.
I know, right?
Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Decatur, Illinois, which is in central Illinois.
I've heard of Decatur, I think.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. So we've lived all over the country. My husband works for Nationwide, and they've moved us all over the country. So I spent some time in Raleigh, spent some time in the East St. Louis area, in Iowa, and in central Illinois as well.
Right on. And I like Miss Kim. Miss Kim shows up to drinking things, the drinking show, the world's drunkest podcast, with a bottle of fucking bourbon.
Yes.
We don't usually get guests that do that.
I know, Marcus, you shouldn't say anything because it was really meant for my brother-in-law, and so don't
Sorry,
say
being
anything.
The special
Don't
order.
say anything.
Sorry, man. The good thing is we have sponsored the alcohol places. We can probably find him another bottle.
Probably.
So you're originally from Illinois.
Yes.
You're from Iowa. Midwest people
Yes,
that drink.
Yes.
drank.
I've never hung out with you drinking in the years I've known you. I've hung out with your sister down here.
Yeah.
Your sister, actually, now you gotta beat your sister, so you gotta give us great content.
I'm
She
drinking
has the
vodka.
most downloaded, second most downloaded now for super producer Jake. Speed dating episode overtook her. She used to be first place. So
Not surprised.
you gotta give us great content so you can drop her down to third place.
Oh, that's
But
not-
this, like I said, this
I'm
is
her
gonna
older
be
sister, so she's
Yeah.
already down a peg.
this is gonna be an incredible episode. It's gonna be like we only done one episode of this magnitude, but it's also important. We're a show that fuck around and shit talk a lot, but it's important for us to get messages out as well, right? So, hey, dog, take us back. Let's take us from beginning of Gunner's journey. I want to get the whole story from like birth to
Okay.
where we are now.
Birth was fine. We did have some trouble a little bit. He was vacuumed out. So basically he wasn't coming and my pushing wasn't good enough. So they literally put a vacuum inside you and they like put it on his head
What?
and they helped suction it out.
What?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Are you serious?
No, serious. Because he was too far gone for a C-section, but in the middle of he was there, but it wasn't, nothing was coming.
You should
So,
have pushed like you did when you was making it.
well, that was as fun as that was feeling every tear all the way to my asshole. Okay, I got some stitches from this kid, all right? So, but he was 10 fingers, 10 toes. When he was born, everyone waits for that cry, like
Right.
that first gasp of breath. Gunner did not do that.
Really?
When Gunner was born, he played with his tongue. And then the doctors and the nurses are cleaning him up and shaking him and just here he is, just knocking along. So then finally you hear that gasp and then you have the whole thing.
Mhm.
He was raised great. He had everything and anything he needed. He was my firstborn, so he's kind of like that emotional connection that you can't let go.
Right.
And then right about 15 months, we were like, oh, let's kind of try and do the potty thing and see if he kind of, just kind of start trying it. He actually started peeing in the potty, his little potty chair. And then after a month of doing that, you just saw like a glaze over his eyes and the unwillingness and the lack of lack of like trying to pursue more learning or like figuring things out. And then after a while, we noticed we would call out Gunner, Gunner, and usually a kid would turn their head and something real quick. Well, he wouldn't even like recognize a voice. He wouldn't realize that he was being called. So we do go behind him with like the pots, like back in the day, like he banged the pots to see if he's deaf, and he didn't even flinch. So we're like, oh my God, we have a deaf kid. We can handle this. So we take him to go get his hearing checked, and they're like, oh, he can hear just fine. So then we take him to his pediatrician, because we took him a couple times just to kind of see him like, oh, he's like, oh, this is slow learning. He didn't start walking until he was 14 months, crawling at 12. Like he was just slow. And I just kept saying, well, because I always had him on my hip. You know, like that's what you say as a new mom. You always on my hip.
Yeah, put him down.
Put him, yeah. And they're like, I'm like, oh no, this is mine. And then we started getting really concerned because he just kept degressing. He was his eyes went from like here to like you would call his name, but he'd look completely away from you, or like there was no eye contact, and then usually around that age it's the first mommy and daddy and the things, and it just went dark. Like his mind said, I'm good. And then we were like, okay, we're just gonna keep trying, and then things weren't working, and so we went on a wait list to go see Dr. Nate Noble, who at that time was pretty much the only developmental doctor in the area that could diagnose. And the wait list was 18 months to go see this man to give us an answer. So in those 18 months, we did what we could, and we reached out to the amazing AEA. They swooped in and they brought in a team. He went for hearing checks. He went for speech. He went for OT. He went for feeding issue. I mean, the whole thing. And then we went to Select Kids for some therapy. And it's not that I didn't like them. I wanted more of a seasoned person that worked and knew what they were doing, but still getting training constantly through her work in her field and her experiences. So I found Miss Kim. What was that? 3 years? Or yeah, almost 4. We'll be 4 in July. Yeah, so it'll be 4 years in July that Gunner has attended her a minimum of 2 times a week, and so then we did that. So after the 18 months of waiting, we saw Dr. Nate Noble. He was downtown at the time at a developmental doctor, and they put you in this big room, and one side of the room is just a mirror. And so from my research and talking to other moms that have gone through this, is that is a 2-way mirror. Dr. Noble and his team are on the other side observing Gunner and seeing what's going on. So after like 20 minutes of us like waiting for like this genius to walk in, he's like kind of plays with Gunner for a few minutes and kind of examines him, and then he sits down next to me and my husband Blaine, and then he like takes my hand and he looks me in the eye and he goes, "It's not your fault. Gunner is nonverbal autistic." And like the bawling and like the unknown, because I've never knew about autism beforehand.
So what was your, all right, you just said that. What was your initial feelings when he told you that?
Total shock. We thought maybe Asperger's was probably the highest. We didn't know that there was a nonverbal autism out there. We didn't know there was a spectrum, but we just didn't know. So after the diagnosis, we right away dove in hard with Miss Kim. The school system here in Ankeny has just been fantastic, working with Gunner, his aides and the teachers. Miss Crystal has just been so on him in particular because that's their job and they love him. And then let's see, we did. Oh my goodness! So
and this all started when he was how old?
we saw like the lights come down around 15, 16 months.
And why do you say lights come down?
Because he was so adamant, and he was doing things that would, atypical kids would do. And then he just, I mean, it was fine that he wasn't crawling or walking at the norms of kids, but some people are like, oh, my kid didn't walk till they were 16 months. So we were okay with that until like you really just saw a glaze, like a fog go, we're gonna slow this down in time. So he went from like a 3-year-old to down to an 18-month-old. His mind just stopped and just.
Oh, once he turned 3.
Oh yeah, like it just went down because he wasn't learning at the speed and rate and all those firing things that help you grow and learn were not pushing forward. And then it's almost like he's tongue tied. So it's been a journey. He's 7 now. He goes to school full time. He was one of like a handful of kids here in Ankeny that got to go to school not quite full time, but more than half the time during the whole COVID thing. He still got to go because that's how much he needed this. That was a journey in itself, COVID and him. But he's doing so good from when you first probably had him till now. Like it's just been a 180 at this point.
So one of the things I want to touch on, and this, I know we are sure that don't do politics and religion, but this is not politics or religion. This is humanity. Let's talk about the fight that you took on, get that learn. Remember the insurance company or some shit they want to get cover his learning aid or whatever.
It was his talker.
His talker, yes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
So Gunner has a device, so we call it a talker. It's basically the size of about like an iPad, maybe a little bit.
An iPad mini.
Yeah, and in it has words and pictures that he can hit and make a sentence and have emotions and have colors and numbers, and so he can talk while it spits it out. Like, I am finished. That's the last thing he says when we leave Miss Kim's house. I am finished. And then it helps colors and count. Like, it has every possible word. We could add stuff to it. The thing is that we applied for this talker, and it took months and months. And then you had to go through at least three different talkers to decide which one you're going to have for years. Like, you don't know what he's going to need when he's 15, if he's nonverbal still. So they're like, this is it. So when you pick the one, then they reject you. Right. Both our private insurance and the Medicaid rejected it in the same day.
Why? Like, do they give you reason? Or do they give you reasons when they reject you, or they just say, no, we're not covering it?
It just says they can't. They're not going to cover it, and they want to see how you want to fight. So the second you send in a second referral, you got it. So I think that the insurance is just sticking with you to see if you truly want this device.
Autism is considered a developmental delay, and so most primary insurance companies like United or Wellmark or TRICARE consider talking devices don't consider them for generating devices for developmental delays. So you have to prove medical necessity, and with the definition of a developmental delay, you're going to grow out of it, right? If you're developmentally delayed, eventually your skills
so they're just
should
hoping that you
catch
get
up.
old enough
to graduate out of it.
Out of it, right? But now research shows that it's not a developmental delay, it's a neurological difference, and but I don't think the insurance world has, caught
Caught
up
up
with
with that.
that.
Yeah. So
It's the paperwork. It's mounds of it. Like you get so overwhelmed,
Mhm.
and then as of
you think they want to get overwhelmed and
They give
eventually
up.
give up?
You
in
want-
the
they want
fight?
you to give up.
That's why.
that's the whole point.
People will give up, right? Oh, we were denied. They said no. Therefore,
Then you think
we
that's-
won't. We
we're
won't
done.
So,
try
hey, we
again.
saved ourselves somewhere.
So when we found out about his official diagnosis, I applied for the HD waiver here in Iowa. That's the health and disability waiver. It's supposed to financially help with things that Gunner needs, wants, respite. It can help with like security system for the house because he does elope. I mean, he's a runner, Gunner the runner. It's supposed to financially help. I applied for it within a couple months of being diagnosed in 2018. We got approved 2023 February 2nd.
Bullshit.
No, I got approved just this year after 4 years,
So 2 months ago.
and I'm still waiting because they tell you you're approved, and then you wait to have this like 2-hour interview, like hundreds of questions about Gunner, and then that's for the state, and then they send all that to Medicaid, and then Medicaid has to approve it, and that took 10 weeks at that point for someone to call and say, oh, when can we meet to help you out? I'm like, and then they send me even more paperwork that I've already filled out before. This will be like the fourth. It's a 2-hour paperwork process easily with pay stubs, getting referrals from multiple people.
Mhm.
So they just want you to kind of give up and just pay. Like, it's not like we can't afford it, but we would like a little help to make sure that he's safe.
Yeah, which is that's not a tall ask, right? That's not a big ask, I mean, you look at some of the things that people get help with,
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't think that they would push back on shit like that, but I think that's the age that we live in, right? So let's go back. I like Gunner. You know why I like Gunner? Because he's like me. Gunner's always on social media
so
with no
fucking
clothes on.
cute.
I want to be.
He is so naked. Right
I
now,
want to
he's
be like him.
naked.
Just walk around with no clothes on. But one of the things, like, I don't know, I think let's talk about the way you've handled it since his diagnosis. Right? You a clear advocate of your son.
Yep.
Which is what I admire. So when April comes around every year, I'm getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I'm going to walk around fucking barefoot. That's the least that I can do. I mean, if I can sit here and podcast and drink,
Yeah.
the least I can do is get up and support my friend and walk around barefoot. And you go to school barefoot.
Yeah.
I can do that because I don't like my toes. I absolutely hate feet. And I'm a former athlete, so my toes are jacked the fuck up. So I make sure I do it in the dark so that people can't really see my toes. But what made, I understand it's your son, but wow, you have that passion for advocating for him. I mean, Miss Kim has on the thing, the wristband.
Yeah.
And we worn it for, like, our friends at the bar worn it for a while.
Yeah.
For fighting for Gunner wristband. But what gives you that passion outside of just being your kid? Not only are you fighting for him, I know they say fighting for Gunner, but a lot of people get that message.
Absolutely.
The autism awareness and acceptance.
It's that mom fight or flight that you will pick up a car for your kid, like that moment that something happens.
Right.
Well, I'll pick up that car just because he can't talk. Like there's something about him that just burns, that makes you go, there's a reason why he is with you. There's a reason why he has nonverbal autism, and you're here to make a change. You're here to do something. You're here to say something. And so I've gone to the Capitol a couple times and listened to our legislature talk about it. My friend Tyler Leach, who is
Tyler works at the same company I work for.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
I'm not gonna give exposure on here, but
Oh
yeah,
my
we work
God.
for the same company.
Tyler's
actually
so
added-
fun. He
he
texted
actually-
me today.
And he added me and our podcast as friend today on.
Yeah,
on
because he
Facebook.
texted me
Yeah.
today and I
Yeah.
said I'm gonna be on Drinks and Things. He's like on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tyler's an autistic adult who has started the Iowa chapter, and it's an international thing for the Barefoot Walk Challenge. So for the last 4 years in April, every single day, I walk barefoot wherever I can, where you're allowed. Like obviously I can't go like Target.
Yeah, don't come when I'm eating my food at, man. With your ugly ass feet trying to put toe down on my pizza.
It's hard. But I think that's the point.
Right.
That uncomfortableness,
Is what he
our
feels
friends sit with
all
every
day, every
day.
day.
Every day.
I step on a rock, I'm like, oh, fuck. But
Oh.
I'm like, oh, because Gunnar feels that just walking in the door to school.
So then when I do that, it's a comfort. I think I put in my point. It's what they're comfortable with, right? That's because it's a sensory thing.
It's a
involved in
huge
this, right?
sensory thing.
Yes.
It's calming.
Huge sensory things.
So-
Absolutely.
So before we get into Ms. Kim's background, I have a friend who just posted on our live cast. Shout out to Abby. I want you to give us some advice. She said, I have 2 amazing children on the spectrum, and we have been through the ringer. I understand frustration so much firsthand. What advice would you give our friend Abby? He's watching, and then Miss Pat said hello, Kim.
Oh.
Yeah, so.
So I think just reaching out to the resources that you have access to is what I encourage parents to do. Parents are the number one advocate for their kids, and I try to empower parents as much as I can. I can come in and give my expertise advice. I can give you all the stats in the world. I can give you all the information, all the standard scores that I can, but the bottom line is the parents have to be the ones to advocate for these kids and to get the resources that they need. So I would reach out to your pediatrician. If the pediatrician isn't listening, try to the nurse practitioner, anyone that'll listen, a classroom teacher, an associate. The bigger team that you can build, the better off you are. I feel there is power in information and knowledge.
Right.
And the bigger you can make that team, whether you agree with it or not, the better informed decisions you can make, right? There's lots of people out there to help with that frustration. So I would reach out to therapists that you're seeing, doctors that you're seeing, nurses that you're seeing, teachers, anyone you can to help facilitate and build that team for your kids, and then work on building yourself up with the knowledge that you can to help advocate for your children.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Reaching out to like other parents, like because Gunnar has, he's in sped ed for about 55% of the day. There are parents there that feel the exact same way I do. There are people. There's Facebook things for the Ankeny Smart. There's the Central Parents of Iowa with Special Needs Kids, and then people post questions and they want help, or there's meetup groups. And then there's sensory special needs days, a lot like the Science Center once a month. They shut the place down, they close it up, and it's from like 4 to 7 the second Tuesday. And there's no music, everything's just calm. They're here to
And try to find other moms
Yeah.
that are going through the same thing, because there's power in numbers, so that you don't feel isolated. Reach out to your Facebook. Yeah, reach out to your mom groups. See, is there another mother in the classroom or in the preschool program that has a child that is on the spectrum or is neurodivergent? Just finding someone that you can share and communicate with and just kind of go through all the processes. We tried this, it worked. We tried this, it didn't work. Oh, well, we found that really beneficial. Oh, who's the provider you're using? Network as much as you can to help build that
It's who you know. It's really who you know. It's like, I need this, and you can just throw that information to get that help.
Right.
If you do the work though. Like you can't be like the school will take care of it.
Right. So
The school's not going to fix
you
it.
have to do the legwork.
Yeah,
right?
there's nothing to fix. There is a group of everyone helping to help him.
And go with your gut.
Yes.
Right?
Oh
Go
my
with your
gosh.
gut instinct. I feel like I'm seeing this at home. Reach out to other people because the school can't do it all.
No, the school can't.
School can't.
And they can't say anything until there's a diagnosis. They can think and they do their absolute best to take care of it. And they're so underpaid and they're so overworked. And thank you for every teacher, associate, everyone that's ever touched all of their lives, but they can't do it all. And so you are the parent, you see them 24/7. What you see is what they see, but you have to reach out. And if you think there's a problem or something suspicious,
Yeah.
Say something.
So Abby,
Say
find
something.
that network of people to help you build.
they're 5 years old and not talking, there's a reason. Like people just are like, oh, the school will take care of it. A lot of them do.
Or they think that through the normal process.
Yeah,
of
like they just,
taking
but
care of it.
you know, if they don't do an intervention, the sooner the better. Like if I wouldn't have found Miss Kim or done an AEA intervention.
Yeah, how I know you said that, you know, like his facial expression that his focus had changed a little bit.
Yeah.
What alarmed you? Like I have zero experience with people.
Yeah.
with autism. So what alarmed you?
It really just the eye contact. Like, you know, when you look at someone, you look at somebody, you look at their eyes, you kind of the facial. When you
Look at
call,
my eyes.
okay.
These things will get you. Ask me.
I got you.
These things will get you.
But like when Gunnar looks at you, he'll look first. Like you might not turn head, but he's trying to find something almost more interesting than you.
Okay.
He's just he's looking, but he's not. And it's the stemming that really lets you know that he needs a minute. He's not. His is clapping. Dear God.
Claps. I
2
think
a.m.
I remember you telling me that.
Like he'll just wake up and like it'll pierce your ears.
Hey man, maybe he's a praise and
He's,
worship type.
I mean, hallelujah, but go the fuck to sleep. And his thing right now is he grabs that arm fat of yours and he will rub it raw, or he just comes to rub it and runs away. Like that's his sensory.
I like that.
He did,
For some of my autistic friends, you'll have an activity at the table or on the floor for them to engage with. You think, oh gosh, this is a great activity. Some of my autistic friends may come in and look at it and then back up and go to the other side of the room, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll play with the activity and then they may come over and look and engage and then they'll go back to the other side of the room, right? Neurotypical kids are like, oh wow, Miss Kim, that's great. Wow, look at the bubbles, look at that. But autistic kids my friends are usually watching from across the room. They're not touching it. They're like, oh, this is kind of, what if it gets on me? What if the colors get on my hands? You know,
it's so sensitive.
they are watching from a distance. And it may not be direct watching. It may be inadvertent listening, inadvertent watching. But they're learning the same. It's just it looks different. It looks different.
So we have Miss Kim here. Miss Kim, I'd like to bring credibility to everybody that's here.
Okay.
Let's give our listeners a little background on you.
She's amazing.
You're studying.
That's all you need to know. She's amazing.
You're studying and all this shit. So.
Okay, so.
Hold on, before you do that,
Okay.
fuckers, you know what time it is?
Fuckers. Why do you use that word? It's so rude.
I would never say that to my kids.
We're halfway point. Well, no, I'm a halfway point because we can go as long as we want. This is important. This is more important than any of these bullshit shows we do.
You want a fully or happy?
Oh, the bartender you came out. You want a fully or a happy? That's what you
Just
used
the
to say
tip?
20 years ago.
You want just the tip, baby?
It's just cool. Gosh, I hate it, but I love you.
Yeah.
We wait to
The
end
good
up.
I do
Sam's
have to
Club
know,
vodka.
what do you think of the bourbon?
That's
Are you a
probably one of
fan?
the best that I've had.
Really?
Miss
Okay,
Kim knows
oh,
her
I'm
shit
so
with
glad.
that.
What's you have to tell our listeners what we listen. So my brother-in-law's can know.
So,
This is
I
Weller.
brought a bottle of Green Label Weller, which is the special reserve. It's a really good sipping everyday kind of bourbon if you can find it. It's just kind of hard to find here in Iowa.
Okay. You know she's not leaving out this damn house with that bottle.
brought it as a
I brought it as a gift. You can keep it.
Oh, this is drinking things Louis Bottle right there.
Just saying.
So here we go. Cheers before we get into Miss Kim's background.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Oh.
Sorry.
Cheers. Oh, hello, Miss Pat. Thanks for joining us on Drinking Things, the World's Drunkest Podcast. All right, Miss Kim. Ooh. Ooh.
Okay.
We love Miss Kim.
Thank you. You're kind.
What did we just shoot, Miss Kim?
What I just shoot? We did the Templeton ride.
Okay, right on. So give a little bit of background, education background and shit like that.
Okay.
So they know that we just not blowing smoke.
So we're not just blowing smoke. So I got my bachelor's at Illinois State University in Bloomington Normal, Illinois. And I got my bachelor's in elementary education.
Okay.
And when I got married, and tried to find a teaching job, I couldn't find a teaching job. And at the time, my sister was at the University of Illinois, and she said to me, hey, there's kind of this new wave in education called inclusion, and it kind of marries special education and regular education and providing services in the classroom, and she was getting a speech pathology degree from the University of Illinois. She's like, I think you should look at it. Look at going back and getting your master's. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I did a little bit of research, took some classes at the Illinois State University and loved it. And got a scholarship to get my graduate program and went to Governor State University in Chicago and graduated with my master's in communication disorders. So I basically have 2 bachelor's degrees, one in communication disorders, one in elementary education, and then a master's in allied health sciences with a specialty in communication disorders.
Okay.
So that's kind of my educational background. I was always drawn to the classroom and really thought I saw myself in education. However, I couldn't stand the paperwork and the bogging down of endless paperwork and, them saying who I could see and who I couldn't see and the restriction and not working with parents. And, for me, special education was more of the academic focus.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really more of a functional kind of person. So
Right.
I really wanted to work with families. I really wanted to work on what kids needed to be successful in their communities. So I left the education route and pursued private practice.
Okay.
So worked in Raleigh in that's how I know Miss Pat, worked in Raleigh in an outpatient clinic, did early intervention, birth to 3. Most of my career is in birth to 3. And then when we moved to Iowa, I kind of told my husband, I want to do my own thing, right? I want to see the kids I want to see. I want to work with the families I want to work with. And so I kind of did the early intervention birth to 3 as well as preschool and elementary school kids.
So what gave you the confidence to make that jump? I mean, that's a lot of, and the reason I ask this is because there's a lot of people that have true passions,
Oh, yeah.
but they're so scared.
It is so
Yeah.
scary. And imposter syndrome is real. Like, oh my gosh, am I that great?
Yeah.
But I think the parents coming to me and saying, Miss Kim, you're making a difference. You're changing our life. I think really working with families and saying, what do you want? What do you want your child to be doing that they're not doing? And then being able to find a way to work with them to make that happen is kind of gives you the success and the confidence to go, okay, I can do another one. I'll be honest, Marcus, I'm not everybody's cup of tea.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Like, and
I think anybody going to business is not going to be everybody's
Cup of tea,
That's
right?
just what it is.
and there are families that leave me and are like, you know what, we're gonna go in a different direction, and that's fine.
That's fine. Yeah.
That's fine. And I think that's kind of what has given me the confidence to keep going is I'll find those parents that I'm their cup of tea. And those parents that I'm not their cup of tea, I want to send them in the direction that they want to go.
Yeah.
So I'll find you what you need You just have to tell me what you want.
Because at the end of the day, it's not about you, right?
No,
At the
it's
end of
not
the day,
about
I mean, obviously,
Oh, 100%.
you're running the business and I get that, but at the end of the day, it's about the kids that are involved.
It's about the kids and it's about the families. And it's about teaching parents to be advocates, to go out and get what they need for their
For
children.
their kids. And it does, not only does that go for autism, that's for anything.
Right.
You know, whether your kids have any kind of trouble, whether bullying, whatever, advocate for the kids.
Right. And helping teachers too, and working with teachers. Like, I love working with Miss Crystal, and
Oh, yeah.
we may not always agree. I mean, the school, I love Miss Crystal.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm just saying, other teachers, we may not always agree, but at least we're working together as a team. And like I said, it's about building that team, it's about building that network and progressing and moving the kids forward to make them as successful as possible.
So, you know what? I'm kind of weird. I'm a weird person, but I think it has a lot to do with my job. I observe a little bit.
Mhm.
One thing I observed about you,
Oh,
you say your friends.
I do.
Like, how important is that
Oh,
to
gosh.
She never says clients.
She
She's
never
like,
said
oh,
clients.
no,
and
these
she
are
not-
clients
you know,
for her.
I listened to you since
Yes.
we got here.
Thank you.
And
I
you
love that.
said,
I love
I'm an observer. Like,
Marcus, you're
you
calling
said-
me out.
no, you said my friends.
Yeah, because they are.
It's
are
important
my
to have that
friends.
relationship, right?
It is important establishing that relationship, especially with our neurodivergent or autistic individuals, is it's establishing that connection, right? It's about building that relationship, which is something that they struggle with.
Right.
They struggle with finding that person that they connect with. And there were a number of times that my autistic friends have come in, and I mean, there's client confidentiality, so I
Right.
feel like I don't want to divulge too much about Gunner.
Just go into Gunner. It's fine.
But Gunner lights up when he comes to my house.
He started knocking on her door. He
has never.
he just does. He's figuring it out.
He feels safe.
Mhm.
He now so.
He
one
keeps
of
his
the
clothes
things-
on at your
He
house.
keeps his clothes on, yes, and he doesn't eat his clothes at my house.
I've never seen my man done with
Oh
clothes
my
on
God.
unless it's a high V. I saw him clothes on high V, but he on
Yeah.
social media, my
Yeah.
man's running around like I want to be.
Yeah.
He has
Yeah.
FICA, so
But-
it's another story.
One of the things about some of my autistic friends is they are whole language learners. They're Gestalt learning. So they learn chunks of language, right? And I feel like, so Gunner's latest thing is he'll click on a Netflix at my house and I'm like, no Netflix. But one day he got in and he went right to, I think the movie is Home.
Yo,
Okay.
My
Home.
kids love home. I love home too.
years
Something.
of this.
So there's
He loves
there's a scene in the movie where they're in a car. I
Yeah.
don't know who the individuals are. They're in a car and the girl's trying to explain the joke,
Yeah. The,
interrupting
yeah.
how,
The girl is played by Rihanna. I
Yes.
watch home. The girl
Right.
is the voice by Rihanna.
right. and
Tip.
We watch it.
Her name's
Tip.
Tip.
Tip, yeah.
Because
We watch a lot of-
I was in the service industry. I'm like Tip, and they're like gratuity, and I'm like,
And she's trying to explain the interrupting cow joke, which is funny, But a lot of my autistic friends do not get humor, they do not get jokes. Gunner gets it though. Gunner looks at me when it says interrupting cow, moo,
yeah.
and he looks at me and he's like, wanting me to laugh.
Yeah.
He wants me to laugh. And I'm like, he gets it. He feels safe. He can be himself. He wants me to laugh. And then he laughs.
Yep.
That's what's awesome, is that moment where you make that connection. And I'm like, yes. And now he started mooing. He will moo before to get me to laugh, which is huge. It's huge.
It's huge
It
because
is
I've never had him
huge.
say much of anything. So like having a kid like recently he goes "Moo!" Like you can see the hamster on the wheel
Yeah.
and like "Moo!" And then like you see his brain go, nope, you're done. Like that's not fair to him.
It's not.
And
I mean,
like-
obviously, I'm day to day. I don't deal with it.
Yeah.
But it's not fair.
So like we do a little bit of sign language, but it's not a lot. But he knows very simple things. But when he does try and say something, you just see like him get so excited that I'm like, he hears his own voice, but then it's like, done.
So how did that make you feel when that happened?
It at the moment it's super like, oh my god, you're gonna fucking say it.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't. Or like once in a blue moon, he'll say one word, and then you're like the whole like world.
That's gratification
It's
at that moment,
it's like
right?
something is happening. A couple years ago, we had a play phone, and he picked it up, and he's still, and he just picked it up, and he goes, "Hello." Me and my husband like stopped in our tracks, and we're like, "Do it again!" Like, but no, that was it. That was it for months.
You can't force that.
Yeah, and then he's trying to go, "Mom," like he's saying "mom," or he's more like you can see
so
something.
He's signing more.
He's signing more.
He'll sign help.
Yeah, he signs help a lot. Oh my god. Like, you got this, buddy. You know what you're doing. So it's just like his brain is like, not today.
So what has been the biggest challenge for you?
Oh.
For both. I mean, I want you to answer this first, and then I want Miss Kim to answer it. But from working with him, what's been your biggest challenge? I don't even want to say frustrated because right,
it's frustrating every day.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, obviously, my kids don't have autism, and I don't know a lot of people that's in my friend circle that has it.
It's 1 in 30 now.
Which I'm gonna say I'm shocked. I'm shocked
Isn't it 1
when
in 30?
you say you don't know
No, but
anyone in your
let me preface this.
Yes, it is.
Let me preface this. When I posted that you guys were going to be on,
Uh-huh.
how many people came and said,
Okay.
I want to
Because
listen to this because
people feel like there's a negative connotation
oh,
with it.
yeah,
And that's why we're trying to take the switch from awareness to acceptance.
Yeah, and then like I saw people coming out and was like, yeah, I want to listen to this because this is something I can relate to, and I'm like, oh shit, I had no idea that you were dealing with this.
Right.
It's a silent.
Because there are certain disorders or certain genetic disabilities or certain things that you look at kids and they look like there are certain things that they have going on. Some of my friends have, certain characteristics of different disabilities, but your autistic friends look typical.
Look exactly the same.
Like, neurotypical.
And then when I did this, and I was just like, oh, I did not know you guys were dealing with this.
Right.
I mean, it's very, I don't even want to say typical, but it happens to where people don't put their business out there when they're dealing with stuff like this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it's hard.
I don't even know if it's like out of shame, but it's hard.
It's not shame. I put mine out there because I, like, not everything, obviously, but there are some things that, like, bring me to my knees, that I, like, crumble. I crumble a lot in silence because I don't want Gunnar or my husband or the teachers to know that I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I'm terrified.
Yeah.
Gunnar just shit all over, and he's playing in it, and he's having a gay old time, and it's like, why is this fun for you?
Yeah, right.
Like, why are you playing in your own feces and just loving every minute of it? And here I am I'm just done.
Yeah.
I lose myself.
So let's take a quick break. I'm gonna refill your drink with some ice.
Yeah.
And we're gonna come back to this. Let's take a 2-minute break because there's a lot more that I want to cover. So unusual. Usually there's a lot more I want to do. So we give you some ice.
Thank you.
Can I go to the restroom?
Yes.
This is so fun.
Oh my god, this is amazing. Amazon.
Oh, we got messengered.
Yes, I did too. My kids are like, stop drinking.
You haven't even had a full cocktail.
I know, right? Am I being obnoxious?
Not at all. Nice try.
You're not gonna fire me tomorrow.
Oh my
right?
God. Nope, you're rehired in the morning.
You didn't have root red.
It's delicious.
Don't worry about the way I edit. I can edit all this stuff.
You can edit all this out.
There will be no dead periods. So we talked about some of the frustrating things.
Yeah.
Keep going. Say playing feces and why it's so attractive to you.
Oh my God. So Gunner can go to the bathroom by himself, number one. He will go in any bathroom and just relieve himself, and he's totally fine. We did have a little problem this beginning of the school year because in the summer we have a nice big pool that when the boys are outside and they're boys, they have a spot in the backyard where they pee.
They still pee. That's what we
And
do.
that's a pee and post kind of thing. Like,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
where you pee. Don't pee in the pool. Get the hell out and pee. So when Gunnar first started school, he peed on the playground. And the associate with him was
My
like,
type of guy.
what the fuck is happening? And I'm like, well, we kind of let him free pee. But now it's fine. But him going number 2 is not okay.
Right.
It's what makes me crumble. He knows he has to go, and what I've talked to his pediatrician and Dr. Noble about is that he enjoys the feeling, like, everyone has to shit,
Yeah.
and you want to get it out,
Right.
but he enjoys that, like, tightness in his stomach.
Yeah.
It's a sensory part where he's like, oh, how long can I keep this in? He has gone days without shitting. I mean, like, nothing. But then once he will physically put his diaper on, go in the bathroom, lock the door, out of sight, out of mind, he'll relieve himself. But if you don't get to him early enough after he's done, he will pull it out, play with it, hair, face, body, walls. He'll go to another room and let it just fly.
Yeah. Okay.
We're working on that. Very unsuccessful. We have sat him down in the bathroom with his iPad and phones and anything that gives him pleasure to just sit there with his squatty potty and just shit.
Yeah.
I know you have to. And we'll be in there for over an hour. He just wants that warm feeling and that him letting it go, not me telling him to let it go.
A control.
It's very control.
So is this a typical behavior of someone with autism?
As far as I know, the bathroom thing is a huge tightness. Like, they like that. As far as I know, there are majority of families that struggle with bathroom issues.
What I'm struggling with right now is Miss Kim not drinking that damn bourbon.
Oh, sorry.
Fucking Kim.
Sorry.
It's the reason we the world's drunkest podcast.
I know, but holy cow, Marcus, I gotta remember to be able to communicate. You don't want me over here asleep, right?
Have you ever heard my co-host?
I know where
Have you ever heard
I know where you were.
AB? Have you ever heard Super Producer Jake? Have you heard?
I have
heard
not.
Dream City? Some of us can't communicate to save your life.
I know. Okay.
Also, I want to touch on that Gunnar has pica. Is that how you say it? Pica, right? It doesn't.
I have never heard of that.
It doesn't stand
Enlighten
for
me, baby.
anything. So Gunnar likes to eat things that are not food related.
Sound like his mom.
What? Only on special occasions like anniversary and
My friend don't shave her legs. It's my game day.
yeah, I'm good.
She let us know. She let us know years ago. If it's not game day, she's not shaving her legs.
Yeah, I know.
What?
I don't want to
I
shave.
don't know these things.
No one wants to shave their fucking legs. It's annoying.
So let's get back to Pica because this is the reason we're probably the most fucked up podcast out there.
So, pica is when you eat things that are not food. So,
And it's just not autism specific. Like there are other
It can-
children
yeah.
that can present with it that are not autistic, that have pica. But it's basically eating things that are not food or, food related.
so his favorites are currently are underwear. So he'll find a little snag and he will pull it, put it in his mouth and eat it. He'll swirl it in his tongue and feel that fiber, and then he swallows it. And then at one point, like, you don't notice it, like an associate or a teacher or even me, like sitting there watching a fucking movie with him, he'll pull it and
Put it from him?
like he'll pull it from himself. Like he won't pull anything from mine,
Yeah.
but he'll pull it and then he'll eat it and then he swallows it. So at this point, he has eaten underwear, blankets, curtains, pillows. Underwear is the big one right now. Shirts are huge for him. On the other day, I put on a fresh pair of underwear, put them up. It was literally a slit all the way up because he had eaten it. So when he goes number 2 and he has a diaper on, and you change him like an infant. There's string still in him, so you seriously have to slowly pull it out because you don't want it to be wrapped around something.
Yeah.
So pica's a big struggle, and I've talked to his pediatrician, I've talked to Dr. Noble about this, and they said as long as it continues with fibers, it will come out. But if it was hair, we have to intervene because hair doesn't digest.
Yes, yeah.
So, I mean, stop eating your shirts.
I mean, it's easy for the three of us to hear. Sit
Yeah.
here and say, stop eating
Right.
your thing.
I mean, his associates try so hard, like as soon as he just kind of turns he's got a whole string in his mouth.
Yeah.
And
And is it like a one-on-one thing with his associates?
he has a one-on-one, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. He's one-on-one. He has different associates throughout the day. They kind of he has one in the morning and one in the afternoon, and then sometimes they subs and whatnot. And he does have a main SPEDA teacher, Miss Crystal, who's just followed this journey with us. The paperwork, I can text her at 3 a.m. She'd be like, "What's up, girl? What do you need?" Or like something like, "Hey, Gunnar didn't sleep today." Like just he's missed some school because his sleep.
Keep update.
His sleep. He'll sleep regress between 2 and 5 days a month, where he just is like, "Oh, 2 a.m. Let's go party," and he's up.
That's my kind of guy, bro. Let's go, gun.
But he's already been to fuck asleep, so go back. So I missed many sessions with Miss Kim because I'm like, he's got to sleep, because she goes around a lot of our schedule too.
Yeah.
So she's had Gunnar for so long that she's just kind of, I get it. Like we'll reschedule as if we can, but we have missed some sessions that I hate.
So Miss Kim,
Yes.
where do your passion for this come from?
I've always just been a person that likes to help others. Like, I like being a team player. I like problem solving. I like trying to find unique situations to make things work. I want to make kids as successful and parents as successful as possible. So that's kind of where my passion has come from, is just helping others.
Helping others.
Mm-hmm.
There's something gratifying about
Noble.
changing lives, right?
Very noble of her.
That is something that just.
I don't know what I would do
just
without
changing
her.
lives.
I really don't
You
know what
are
I would do
so
without
right.
you. Just because like coming in and having the 2-3 minute conversation of like, "What's up with Gunnar?" and you're like, "How are you?" And I'm like, "Who the fuck cares about me?" You're like, "No, like what's good?" Like
Yeah,
you know,
you are important as well, right?
So, like,
how you and Blaine's dealing with it is important.
yeah,
as well,
like
right?
she asks. She doesn't just go, "Oh, yeah, give me your kid. See you later."
So Audra shared with me that Blaine is nervous about coming to my house, and it like broke my heart. And I'm like, "What do you mean Blaine won't come to the door?"
Us men, we would never admit that. We
Yeah,
scared of a lot of
they
shit.
just
What?
We scared of a lot of shit. We won't admit it, but we're scared of a
I'm
lot
like,
of shit.
all he has to do is say hi and come up to the door.
But he doesn't know like
No.
what do I say? I'm like, it's Miss Kim. We've known her
Yeah.
for 4 fucking
I'm
years.
gonna tell y'all.
Your
If
I'm
there's
gonna
nothing
tell
at
y'all.
all on the floor, she had a good night. Like,
Yeah.
come on. Like,
Us as men, we just fucking creepy. You know what I'm nervous about?
Hmm.
Sometime when it was wintertime, I would drop Amaya off at school.
Mhm.
Absolutely terrified me.
dropping her off at school.
Because I know she's no longer in my care and I can't protect her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's-
I know that feeling.
I'm just like, that's always made me nervous.
Mhm.
Like, picking her up, I'm just ecstatic. But if I had to go and
She's
drop her
coming
off,
out. Daddy,
if I
yeah,
had to go
daddy
and drop her
time.
out, like, I'm so anxious when I'm doing it.
Mhm.
Because she's no longer in my care. I can't protect
Well,
her
that
from
could be what
anybody.
Yeah.
I thought of that. That's
us.
a great
Men,
perspective.
we're weird. We're a weird character. We say we big and tough. When you have kids, you become soft.
Mhm.
And
It's different.
I mean, you have 2 boys. I have 2
Ugh.
girls. I gotta protect them from everything.
Oh yeah.
So
Especially.
it's just weird. So how does your other son deal with it? How does he adjust to it?
My little Archibald.
With
Archer.
Archman.
Oh my God, Archer. So they're about 13 months apart.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that, by the way.
Hey, me and my brother, we right there.
Don't.
Well, you just couldn't wait. Just say you couldn't wait.
I was just like, all right, come on, let's go.
Come on, give me the cooler.
Give me it.
So we have a backstory, the cooler. Her and I, we can say the
I
cooler.
didn't even know what
Me and her, we were friends.
Oh God, Zion.
I'm gonna be jealous. Marcus knows more than
Oh, you had to tell this kid. You had to tell this kid. Has nothing to do with me.
He helped change a keg or two.
Yeah, no, I fucking did not. I did not. But she told me the story, and I just given a shit about the story since then.
You're too much.
So, yeah, how does Archer deal with it?
So Archer, oh God. So he is totally atypical. Or you want to say normal? He did see Miss Kim for not quite 2 years, maybe a year and a half.
2 years.
Year and a half, maybe. He did because he for speech because he's around Gunner 24/7, and his speech was delayed because he was just like, oh, this is how you're supposed to be. Like he wasn't.
Yeah, well, no. So, I also train dogs. I do all my plugs and all my businesses here. But in dog world, we call it imprinting. Like they pick up on what other people are doing and think that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Right.
So, all right, go ahead.
Yeah, so he wasn't. His speech was obviously delayed. He was just kind of but not full set. Like so, the AEA picked it up first when we were with Gunner before all of our other services, and then I talked to Miss Kim and fit him into her schedule, and he went to early pre-K right at 3.
Mm-hmm.
The day after he turned 3, they got him in, and he did 3 years of preschool and a year and a half with Miss Kim, and now he won't shut the fuck up. It's like literally he wakes up and he has a conversation.
Do you
already
know who
going.
his mom is? Do you know who his aunt is?
Yeah, I get that, but I'm just like, so you know, Mom, about the Pokemon? Like, I'm like, I don't really care, but with Archer, I lean on him more than I should, but he has a sense of like pride with Gunner that we go to Urban Air probably once, if not every other week, and there's always new kids working and stuff, and he'll and Gunner only stays in kind of the ball pit, like very basic areas, and Archer's off flying around and I'm like whatever. So when a new kid that's working kind of calls out Gunner like, hey, you can't do that, here comes Archer. My brother has the autism.
The autism?
Yeah, he says the autism. So don't talk. He doesn't get it. And like the kid's like, the fuck is this kid like? And so I have to explain it. And they're like, oh, okay. I'm like, he understands what you're saying, but he's not gonna follow what you're gonna do because he's nonverbal autistic. And these kids are 16, so they're like, whatever. Like it's my first job. So, but Archer's very, very protective of him and helps out. Hey, can you go get Gunner? Can you help me with, just because Gunner is so enamored with his iPad. Like the second he gets off school, he he gets home, takes his pants, takes his shirt off, puts the iPad on, and he leaves. He's like, okay,
That's his comfort, right?
I gave you
That's
7
his comfort?
hours of fucking work. I deserve a few hours of myself.
That's his comfort, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So he watches the same show for 10 seconds all the time. And it's been Larva for 4 years.
There
And
you grew up and watched the shit that I watch, and you really gonna think something
Oh my
wrong
God.
with that.
So he has shows that he watches, like, he'll hit it, find the show, and he'll watch, like, literally 10 seconds, and then he'll hit the back button and watch it. Like, it just is constant, like, what
On
one,
repeat. Like,
yes,
constant shit on
like,
repeat.
it's that 1 second of watching it to bring him some kind of, like, joy of the same scene over and over again.
All right, so as we wind this thing down,
Mhm.
you know we have to have one more.
I was like, do you need a refill? All right.
Not much. You are not drinking with me.
I
Miss
am.
Kim.
This is
this
cool
I-
too,
this is
sir.
cool
What's in it?
Mom water. This is my new favorite cocktail. Mom water.
Oh fuck! So you are drinking?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
yes,
Oh, this is-
yes,
yeah.
This is what I have.
Oh fuck!
Mom
I
water.
thought the only thing you were
No,
drinking.
This is the best thing,
Hop it
and
over,
liquor lovers has it. It is a non-carbonated vodka kind of seltzer, but
Like a seltzer?
non-carbonated.
Super
It is
producer
so
Jake is
good.
in Super producer Jake is in salsa season right now, so he may love that.
Yeah, I don't
We're gonna have to
love
go to
bubbles,
we can't
so.
go to where you go. We're gonna go to Neighborhood Liquors and see
Yeah,
what they have.
neighborhood liquors. They might. I don't know.
Shout out to Neighborhood Liquors. That's
Hand me his
Neighborhood
cup and
Liquors.
I'll refill his
Oh.
bourbon.
As we get to the bottom of we can keep going as long as y'all want. Ooh,
Oh.
shit.
So would you like a few facts about
Yeah,
autism?
give us some. Give
Give
my
you some
us.
information.
Not only me because I am not super educated in this
Mhm.
thing. Give us some facts about.
So, as Audra said, about 1 in 5, 1 in 6 individuals, children, are being diagnosed with autism. The males are typically diagnosed over females. However, females often go undiagnosed or misdiagnosed. And
Hold on, why is that? There's nothing out there that states it, right?
I don't know why that is. I think
Boys, like, kind of,
Boys develop slower
I
anyways.
think boys
you think?
develop a little bit slower. I think girls just kind of I don't know why that is.
like a flower, open.
I think I think boys are just more quiet, more reserved. I think maybe I don't know why that is, but girls are typically underdiagnosed.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's not that it is a boys only diagnosis, but there are girls that are being misdiagnosed or not diagnosed as frequently.
Okay.
Mhm.
Other stats you want to share?
Autism is a spectrum, so nonverbal all the way to children, like autistic individuals can be verbal too. So
They
So
can be
like
super high
the
functioning.
the person that y'all just told me about who works at the same place I work.
Yeah, Tyler. So he's super high functioning. He drives a car. He has a 9-to-5 job. He is a huge advocate in the Iowa chapter of autism awareness, acceptance, whatever you want to call it. He's huge. Like you say, he's Tyler Leach. You know autism.
All right, he's putting the word out there too, man.
yes.
He's the reason why driver license says 2020 during the whole COVID thing. He went to the Capitol, pleaded his case with a legislator, and now there is a autism
Designation. Mhm.
On your
on
license?
driver
On your
license.
driver's
It's
license.
voluntary, but there is a like it says medical
Hey,
underneath is
shout
autism.
out to Tyler. I would love to
Tyler.
have Tyler on here with.
So he
the
introduced
three
me
of
to the
us.
Barefoot Walk
Yes.
Challenge.
That would be awesome.
I would love to have him on here so we can have like
He's
first
fantastic. And this year for the Barefoot, they try and do like different goals or like things to do. So this year for the Barefoot, that like I walk everywhere barefoot is where I can take the boy, this, that, and the other. So it's writing one word positivity on your
On
foot.
your feet. Yeah.
So today
What do you got? Hold on. Let's see what you got. sis.
let's see.
I have
Love.
love on
Man,
this
I'm touching
one.
your fucking feet.
Lucky you. And I always have Gunner.
Always
Love
Gunner.
Love and
Shout out to
Gunner.
that.
So
I would write on my feet, but you think they can see it?
Mm.
Because I'm always, when I do my shit,
Yeah.
the sun's not even up.
Yeah,
When I do
yeah,
mine,
you do it in the dark.
it's in the dark. It's 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
I
you've
go
done
out
it
and
every
I
year
walk.
for what, 3 years
3
now?
years.
Yeah.
This year was my 3rd year doing it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm doing it in the dark when most people are not comfortable walking
And I
outside.
love
at 4 o'clock
explaining
in
to
the morning.
people. Like when
Yeah.
I'm walking around barefoot, they're like, "Did you forget something?" I go, "No."
No, yeah.
That's
I'm gonna tell you why.
I do
Because
mine. I'm gonna tell you one of the reasons I do mine in the dark, not only because I'm ashamed of my feet, but when most people are sleeping, I want to be up promoting the message, right?
Yeah.
It was 4:37 when I did.
So they wake up and they
it.
see you.
And you see this beautiful ass face from me early in the morning. But I like doing it when other people are sleeping, like early in the morning.
Yeah.
Most people sleeping
It's
being
cold.
comfortable,
Yeah.
and it is cold.
Yep.
I took Olaf out with my dog out with, and I'm like, the first year I did it, I'm like, I am tripping. It is cold out here, and my feet are freezing. But hey, it's
Get
I
those
don't
little
deal with this
pebbles
every day.
behind you.
Yeah,
and
I
you're
don't
like,
deal with this
"Woo."
every day. I can be uncomfortable for 13 minutes while I'm walking a mile, as opposed to where someone had to do this shit every day, all day.
Yeah.
I can do that, right? And then
So appreciate
it's been one of the
bringing
things I look
something.
forward to every morning. Like when they come up and I'm like, I send you an inbox
Yep,
message. I was like, hey, I'm on it.
absolutely. Hey,
I was like, I'm on it. I mean, that's just what
I
it is
love
what it is.
I love explaining to people. They're like, do you forget something? I'm like, no, I didn't. And then I'm saying I do the barefoot walk challenge, and they just go, oh. And then
No, I think not very many people know what it is.
they don't until I explain it to
Explain
them,
it,
and they're like, that makes so much sense, because especially the parents, because Gunnar leaves the school on a sped ed door, and all the parents that are going to that door are special needs parents, and they are like, what the hell, girl? Like I say hi, and we're very friendly, and I explain to them, they're like, that's amazing. Like, thank you for doing that. Like, I'm like, your son, my son, your kid, this kid.
Yeah.
They all feel this way, and I do it for them.
Yeah.
I do it for your kid and my kid.
Which is a great thing. It's a great thing. What I want you to do now, on behalf of me and my co-host, and I'm the only one hosting tonight because everybody's busy. What the fuck? Give us the names of some organization that people can support. Autism awareness and something that's near and dear to your heart.
So, one that I learned about last year was cultivating farms, Hope Farms, in Ankeny. Not Ankeny, I'm so sorry. Ames. They have a beautiful acreage of farming land, gators, to like kind of have kids' sensory needs, like felt, like they feel everything and they learn. They
working with the animals.
Yes, they are just a beautiful place to like
complete emulsion into the farm experience.
Feel the horse. Feed the duck. Like, right. I mean, this is like a whole farm for a kid to
give
just
the kids
feel
the bucket, let them
yes,
feed the animals.
Slowly.
Right.
Gunnar went there and they had like this big water trough and he just jumped in naked. He took off his, they're like, it's fine, it's totally fine. And then he started peeing and then they go, all right, we're doing this. So like they were fine with, like, he just starts pissing in it. And so this place was amazing. And then also, Miracle League here in Ankeny.
Yeah, Miracle League is
very the inclusion park, and then we do the baseball.
Just getting your kids involved in the community.
Yes.
I feel like is what's great about Miracle League, and getting
you see
them.
So many other people that have a kid that have special needs. It might not be your special needs, but it is a special needs.
Well, and I think just getting them involved with typical peers too, like neurotypical kids working with the neurodivergent kids.
I love that Miracle does that.
Just giving them that hands-on experience both ways, like learning to learn from each other.
Yeah, because Miracle last year had like Ankeny soccer team and football and like the girls team. Like they were like all the players were assigned a kid or two and like helped them. And they were just so gentle and so patient and just were so excited. Hi, Gunner. How are you? Gunner's like, who the fuck are you? Like, all right, like we got this. And then like the kids in the wheelchairs and the kids. I mean, there was just so much, and it's just so nice that Ankeny is like I won't ever leave Ankeny, and I've always said that is that Ankeny means so much to me and my family is because it's so inclusive, and they have really done a great job with special needs.
It's a really good community
Yes.
environment here in Ankeny, and there are lots of opportunities for the community to give back and keep growing and giving back to each other and learning from one another. I think what is most important.
Absolutely.
So having those sensory sensitive movie times, those sensory sensitive play times,
Yes.
those sensory
Because
sensitive.
Imagination Street just opened up, and
Yes.
Urban Air, like the
Yes, like
little
having
things
those
like
opportunities to keep the kids involved in the community, and
they're part of it.
they're part of
They're building
the environment.
yes,
and
absolutely.
that's what's important, to make them feel like members of the community and the
Yes.
community giving back to them as well.
Because it is frustrating when I like take Gunner to any store, any like especially he loves Sam's Club. Like that's that's our home. We live there, and he loves the pizza. We go shopping, and he gets like the cafe pizza, and then he
For a
goes
meal,
like
a nice
it
little
doesn't
meal.
matter any time of day. He'll eat the damn pizza. But like he's okay there. But like we go Target, Walmart, and he sees Oreos, fucking game over.
Oh,
He
loves Oreos.
He lays down and like, nope, or the zip. That's what I want, and it's so I have two routes. I can just lay there and watch him freak the fuck out and be disruptive and weird to other people, or I can put the fucking Oreos in the cart, and when I cash out, I give back to the cashier and be like, we don't need these. Like, there's options of like figuring out how to please him, because we have we have an abundance of snacks for him, but he's
He wants
so
some Oreos.
particular. He only eats so like less than 10 things. So figuring out how to feed this kid is so hard. His when he was a year and a half, it was popcorn. Doctors were like, don't fucking give this kid pop. I'm like, what the hell? This is all he's eating.
Yeah.
He eats grilled chicken, breaded chicken, chicken nugget. I mean, like a lot of Miss Kim's goldfish are the best.
Goldfish?
No,
He eat
yeah.
fried chicken?
Yeah,
You sure you're not related to black people?
he might be.
He might be a little black.
Yeah, hey, hey, I can't help it.
Yeah, shit.
But white rice is his go-to.
Okay.
Just white. He wants things plain, just already done, ready to go. Casey's breakfast pizza is huge for him. But like having him try new things is like impossible. He'll eat a whole apple, the core and all, as his only fruit. It's hilarious. He eats the whole damn thing. Fruit Loops. That's why his shits are lime green. It's because goddamn Fruit Loops.
Why are you going there looking at my man's shit?
Because I cleaned them. And now he plays in it. So,
Okay.
I mean, I see it on the wall. I'm like, well, Fruit Loops it is. But that's a huge part of autism is food sensitivity, is connecting with things that not taste good, but just kind of
The texture.
Okay.
So it's hard to find the tricking part is like, oh, you're having grilled chicken. I mean, and I've snuck in like pork and stuff like that. But he has to have white rice. White rice is a staple.
Okay. All right. So you name these organizations that are near and dear to you. I want to commend you, man, on the way that you advocate for Gunner, man. I mean, more parents should be like that. You know what I mean? It's unfortunately they don't. I mean, they kind of let the system take over and let the system do it for them. But the way you've done this from the years I've known you has been very much commendable on behalf of Drinks and Things podcast and my co-host AP, super producer Jake. Who else? Rim City said we want to make a donation to a organization of your choice to make sure that we keep this awareness and acceptance going. Man, I know we are a podcast that do a lot of drinking, but we also like to give back. So you have that commitment from us, myself, and my co-host. One of the things we like to do when we shut these episodes down is we like to leave our listeners and viewers with a positive thought. So I'm gonna give you one sip of alcohol, even though your shit's gone, while you gather your thoughts, and leave us with a positive thought. But first, you have to tell me what. I don't even know if I want you to do this on the microphone, but sometimes it brings notoriety to an organization. What organization would you like us to donate to?
Cultivating Hope Farms.
There we go. That's what we're doing.
They're amazing. So
they're out of
Ames,
right?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So that's what we do. Drinks and Things. We will donate to that organization. Myself, on my behalf of myself, AP, super producer Jake, Rim City, Seth. Positive thought. Oh, you don't even have no alcohol. Fuck.
It's all good.
No,
We got
drink some bourbon.
Oh, no, that's a low.
If you drink bourbon, Blaine's getting lucky.
Oh, it's always getting lucky.
You're a fucking liar. I've known you for years. You didn't even shave your legs today, so I know you.
Oh, well, I didn't. You don't need to touch legs to.
Yeah, you do. You gotta hold them up.
He holds them up. That's not my problem.
Fucking crazy. Lead us with positive thought. I'm gonna let Miss Kim go second to last. I want you to go first. Positive thought.
Positive thought. Oh goodness. It's not impossible. It's hard. You will cry. You will feel so defeated that you can't do it. But you won that day if you completed that day. It's every day is different, but the same at the same time. The routine, the constant neediness of something in particular. And you can do it. You just have to complete the day. And the next day will just be a little easier if you do the day before.
Right on.
Absolutely.
Miss Kim?
So kind of my whole thought process when I started my own company when we moved here about 9 years ago was bloom where you're planted, right? Like, do the things that you can do today and it'll make tomorrow a little bit better. So bloom where you are right now. Take everything you can in right now to make today the best that today can be and tomorrow the best that it can be, and learn and just continue to grow. Do what you can to make it the best that it can be.
Wow.
Bloom where you are right now.
I don't think I can top either one.
Obviously.
Of those, man. I mean, this has been one of my favorite episodes today. Like we into season 2. I don't know if you guys know, but most podcasts fail if they don't make the 7 episodes, right? And we are into season 2. I think episode.
Congratulations.
Love.
Episode
Awesome.
So
40
much
something
love.
or 50 something. But for me, man, I'm gonna go back to one of the things that I used to say all the time, and I think I said it yesterday. Yesterday's episode is be you wherever you go. If you can't be you, don't fucking do it. And let's encourage a world of acceptance. We're all different for a reason.
Don't stare. Just
Don't. Yeah, I mean, just.
my son has a breakdown. It happens. Don't say that I'm giving in. I'm doing what this is him. This is real life. This is raw.
Yeah.
This is him having a meltdown.
If you don't think you can walk into people's shoes, don't put your feet in. Right, and that's I think that's something that we have to understand. Right, like all of our situations are different. I
Absolutely.
mean, I can't talk about what you go through every day because my kids are not in that situation, but I have a soft spot in my heart for it, and which is why I do that every year. I mean, not only because you're my friend, it's because God's blessed me to the point where I don't have to deal with it every day. So I try to lend my voice to other people, right, to get their message out, and I think that's important. And I don't even know if I do a great job at doing it.
You do.
You know,
I appreciate it.
I wouldn't say that I'm the best advocate for it because I
But
think
you're advocating.
I'm
Yes.
advocating, but I also think that me personally, I can do it all year round. Like I do. Me and my family, we do a charity golf outing every year, but I also think I can do more. But it's really hard to understand what people go through if you're not living it every day, right? So I want to encourage everybody to just take a step back and get in somebody else's shoes. If it's not for a day, just for a few hours, and kind of understand where they're coming from. I want to thank you ladies for coming down to Dina's place.
Oh, thank you, Marcus.
And drinking some bourbon, some vodka, some shots.
There's a rumpy.
And making us contributing to the world's drunkest podcast because we definitely got there today, all supposed. But I'm so glad we did this. No, we talked about doing this last year.
Yeah,
And
we talked about a couple years.
did
Yeah.
it. Actually, when we started this podcast, I reached out to her and talked about doing this. Actually, it was last April because I looked it back.
I remember that. Yeah.
But it's the world's drunkest podcast, Drinking Things, your boy MG. Special thanks to A-Dog, Miss Kim, my co-host is not here with me tonight, AP, super producer Jay Grim City Set. It's on and popping. Be sure to follow us on YouTube or wherever you find your podcast, whether it's iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. Be sure to like us so we can keep bringing you content. I'm your boy MG. We appreciate y'all listening to us. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Thank you.
We talked for an hour and a half.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh.
Did we really?
Oh my gosh.
That's glorious.
I feel like I rambled. Did I ramble?
I'm actually going to lay in bed and get this